It's hard to believe Labour, the party many saw as the champions of the working class, now faces fury from all sides for actions that critics say are disgraceful and a total betrayal. At the heart of the outrage, Labour's stunning decision to slash winter fuel allowances for pensioners, leaving millions to struggle in the cold. As if this weren't shocking enough, Labour has come under fire for snubbing the Chagos Islanders on Remembrance Sunday, a slight with deep historical wounds. And as Labour's reputation takes hit after hit, even international tensions are rising, with warnings from Israel to avoid large events in the UK due to the growing risk of anti-Israel violence. The controversies are piling up, with furious critics demanding answers from Keir Starmer. How did Labour fall so far from its roots, and is this the beginning of the end for the party's hold over Britain? Just in, the tension surrounding these controversies has reached a new level. Within the last 24 hours, it's been revealed that trade unions are now taking Labour to court, and international warnings from Israel are stoking fears of unrest in UK cities. As anger mounts over Labour's actions and accusations of betrayal grow louder, it's clear this story has only begun. If you're stunned by Labour's choices or simply want the full truth, like, subscribe and stay tuned. This is the scandal everyone will be talking about. The scandal that's rocked Britain in recent days goes beyond politics. Some say it's a question of conscience. This week, Labour and its leader, Sir Keir Starmer, face brutal backlash over decisions that, to many, seem heartless and out of touch. Labour's announcement to limit winter fuel payments to only those receiving pension credit has thrown millions of elderly pensioners into a panic. For some, this payment was essential to surviving the winter, keeping their homes warm and their health intact. But in one cold, calculating move, Labour has now cut off nearly 10 million elderly citizens from this lifeline. The response has been fierce, and one voice speaking out is actor and beloved public figure Christopher Biggins. Known for his outspoken personality, Biggins didn't hold back when he appeared on GB News to discuss Labour's decision. "I don't know how Keir Starmer has the guts to actually get up in the morning and look at himself," he said in his now viral interview. His frustration is palpable, mirroring the betrayal felt by countless pensioners who once saw Labour as the party that understood and represented them. For Biggins and many others, this isn't just a policy error, it's a fundamental breach of trust that cuts to the core of what Labour was supposed to stand for. Labour has defended its cuts, claiming that the £22 billion shortfall, supposedly left by the Conservatives, made these reductions unavoidable. But to pensioners who now face a cold winter, this budgetary justification feels like a slap in the face. Many are wondering if the party has forgotten its most loyal supporters in a rush to balance the books. The scandal, however, has now taken a legal turn. Unite, one of the UK's most powerful unions, is fighting back, announcing a judicial review to challenge Labour's decision. Sharon Graham, Unite's General Secretary, condemned the move as unthinkable in a government led by Labour. "People do not understand, I do not understand, how a Labour government has taken away the fuel allowance of millions of pensioners just as winter approaches." In their pre-action letter, Unite claims that Labour's failure to consult the Social Security Advisory Committee, SSAC, before enacting these cuts might render the policy unlawful. Should this case proceed, Labour could face a high-stakes court battle and potentially be forced to overturn the cuts. But with billions at stake, would Starmer's government comply even if the court ruled against them? And as if the winter fuel scandal wasn't enough, Labour now faces a separate, deeply painful controversy over their treatment of the Chagos Islanders. These are people who, for generations, have been connected to Britain, but have often been treated as second-class citizens. This year's Remembrance Sunday should have been a chance to honour their sacrifices, particularly those made during World War II when Chagosians supported Allied forces against the Axis powers. But this past weekend, as representatives from other UK overseas territories laid wreaths at the cenotaph, the Chagos Islanders were glaringly absent. No representative was invited, and to many it felt like yet another reminder of their long history of being sidelined and mistreated. This snub follows another contentious decision from Labour, Starmer's choice to transfer sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius. Many in Britain view the Remembrance Sunday exclusion as yet another betrayal of the Chagosian people. Jean-François Nellon, spokesperson for Chagossian Voices, described the snub as heartbreaking, especially for Chagossian families in the UK who still have living relatives that served in World War II. Even Conservative MP Andrew Rosindell, known for his advocacy for the Chagossian cause, called the decision a total betrayal and said Labour's actions were no better than colonial rule. Starmer's leadership is now in peril as his handling of these issues faces increasing criticism. With both pensioners and the Chagos community feeling abandoned, the question on everyone's mind is, who will Labour stand up for, if not these loyal and deserving groups? Labour's issues don't end with domestic scandals. In the last few days, another storm has been brewing internationally, with Israel issuing a severe travel warning to its citizens about attending large events in the UK. Tensions have risen across Europe, particularly after a violent attack on Israeli football fans in Amsterdam. Israel's National Security Council has issued an alert warning Israeli citizens to avoid public gatherings in Britain due to an alleged rise in anti-Israel sentiment. They believe that pro-Palestinian groups could exploit these events, disguising attacks under the cover of protests and demonstrations. This security warning has sent shockwaves through Britain's Jewish community, who already feel increasingly vulnerable amid rising anti-Semitic incidents. The tension is heightened further by the radical activities of Palestine Action, an extremist group encouraging direct action tactics against Israeli-linked businesses across the UK. This group, operating under the radar, has been hosting training days to teach activists how to disrupt, damage, or even destroy sites they see as supporting Israel. Their instructions read like a covert manual, with guidance on forming cells of trusted individuals, using burner phones, and paying with cash to avoid detection. Palestine Action's website even lists primary and secondary targets, explicitly pointing out companies that allegedly profit from the Israeli defense sector. Their tactics have led to a chilling environment for employees of these companies, many of whom report being spat at, cursed as baby killers, and threatened while simply going to work. The rise in Palestine Action's militant approach has alarmed organisations like the Community Security Trust, a UK charity providing protection for Jewish communities. The CST has labelled Palestine Action as an extremist organisation, noting that its actions have become increasingly aggressive. For some in the Jewish community, Palestine Action's operations are terrifyingly close to domestic terrorism, and they are calling for urgent government intervention. All these issues, the pensioner betrayal, the remembrance snub, and the security risks, are stacking up to create a monumental crisis for Labour. Starmer's government now faces an impossible balancing act. On one side are the financial constraints, but on the other are vulnerable communities left feeling forgotten and unsupported. As the Labour leadership scrambles to maintain its hold on public support, the nation watches with unease. This winter could be not only the coldest, but also one of the most divisive in recent memory, as Labour's actions push their most loyal supporters to question where the party's true allegiances lie. Can Labour recover, or is this scandal the tipping point that could finally bring the party to its knees?